guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 1 Peter 5, and I wanted to talk about this topic because today God has been dealing with me about the area of my emotions. Can I be transparent? Like, I want to talk about this, and I want to be completely raw today because I feel like if you're like me, you don't see deliverance in your situation because you feel like at some point you're not going to feel crushed. At some point it's just going to be easy for you to go through life and never feel down, never feel unhappy, never feel unsatisfied. You're going to get to a point in some point of your life where none of this stuff bothers you, but that's just not realistic. Can I just bring you down to earth real quick? That's not realistic, woman of God. It's not. You're gonna have moments in your life that try to throw you off track. You're gonna have curveballs to see if you're serious about what it is that you're pursuing in your life. You're going to have moments, excuse me, it's a little bit warm out here. You're gonna have moments that were literally sent to make you or break you. So we have to decide, how are we going to deal with these moments when they come? Not if they come, but when they come. What's going to be our response? So our perception of what goes on in our life shouldn't be, how don't I feel pain? How can I avoid pain? How can I avoid feeling sad? How can I avoid not always having a happy day? How can I always have a happy day? Let me tell you something. You can always have a happy day when you decide today's going to be a happy day, regardless. This life should not be based on how you feel in the moment. Like, if you feel like crap in the moment, life still goes on. You still have to show up. You still have to pursue. You still have to produce. You can't hide forever. You can't keep starting and stopping because you don't feel like it's right in the moment. So how do we respond to these moments? How do we keep continuing when life is crap sometimes? Can I keep it $150 with you? Like, right now, I'm in a season of my life where if I don't figure out how to deal with these emotions so I can keep on moving, I will never, ever move. I will never, ever move. So that's how I came to the conclusion of, the enemy knows if he throws something at me and I stop every time I'm having a bad day, all he got to do is keep throwing stuff at me. And he's winning. So how do I tell the enemy, regardless of what you throw at me, I could be having the worst day of my life and still show up for God, still show up for the Lord, still show up for my family, still show up for the people that support me, still show out on his behalf, because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So here we come to 1 Peter 5. We got Peter talking to the Gentiles, and he's teaching them and he's training them in the way of God. So verse 1, therefore, I strongly urge the elders among you, pastors, spiritual leaders of the church, as a fellow elder and as an eyewitness called to testify of the sufferings of Christ, as well as one who shares in the glory that is to be revealed, shepherd and guide and protect the flock of God among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but voluntarily, according to the will of God, and not motivated for shameful gain, but with wholehearted enthusiasm, not lording it over those assigned to your care. Right? So in this part, he's talking to the leaders of the church and how they should lead. They should lead from selfish gain. Like me as a leader in the fivefold ministry, I shouldn't come on here and try to coerce you into anything so that way you can sow a seed into me for my selfish gain, right? But I should lead you by being an example. I should lead you by being an example. That's why I will never come on here and be fake about where I'm not. I've done that before. It didn't work for me. Long term, being fake will never work for you. But I'm coming on here to tell you how I could be going through the worst moment of my life and still come out on top. And I can only tell that to you is if I show you my lifestyle. If I show you these scars and how God is helping me overcome these scars, then both of us can be encouraged and come out, right? So he's telling us, let our life be an example of Christian living. to the flock. Set a pattern of integrity for your congregation. I can't come on here and tell you to be integral, and I'm not integral when I go home with my children and with my spouse, right? So, let's see, I'm down here. And all of you, let me see. And when the chief shepherd, Christ, appears, you will receive the conqueror's unfading crown of glory. That's all we want. If we can simmer down everything we want as believers, we want to be pleasing in the sight of God. So how can we be pleasing in the sight of God? Humility and letting our lives be an example, right? So likewise, you younger men of lesser rank and experience, be subject to your elders, seek their counsel, and all of you clothe yourself with humilities toward one another. See, me as a leader, I can't just expect you to serve me and be humble to me, and I can't serve you and be humble to you. It goes both ways. My title don't dictate how I treat you. It should be across the board. I should treat you well, right? For God is opposed to the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. Set aside self-righteous pride. Set aside self-righteous. You always want your way. You always want it. It's your way or the highway. Set that aside so that he can exalt you. See, he can't take the wheel of your life if you don't lay down your will. He can't take the wheel of your life if you don't lay down your will, your way of doing things. Right? So when we talk about emotions, right? Anytime we allow our emotions that day to dictate if we're going to obey God or not, we're not laying down our will so he could take our will. Therefore, we're in pride and we're in rebellion. My God. Because he gives grace to the humble. He exalts those that realize they need him. In Matthew 5, in the Beatitudes, it talks about how blessed are those that are poor in spirit. Not poor in their bank accounts. Poor in spirit. Poor meaning humble. Poor meaning being meek. They understand their need for God, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God. They'll inherit the earth. You are blessed when you understand your need for God. So how do I get over situations? Because we know we're going to have days that don't feel like you can go on. So how do I look at that and still pursue where you understand that this moment is just reminding me that I need God? That's all it's doing. It's reminding me that I'm a human and I'm wrapped up in this flesh suit and I'm in the earth. And in the earth, we know that we're going to have trouble. We're going to have persecution. But do not be afraid, for he's already overcome the world. Right? So, where was I? Toward the one he gives grace to the humble, therefore humble yourselves so that he may exalt you at the appropriate time, casting all of your cares. So here we go too. When you're in pride, you never cast your cares amongst God. It's hard for you to let God handle it when you have your way of doing things. It's not happening in your time frame, so you can't cast your cares on God because you need it done now and God said next week. So this whole scripture can't work on your behalf because you can't cast your cares. It's okay to have your moment. It's okay to have your days. But at some point, you got to look at your moment and say, this ain't mine to stress about. This belongs to God. I cast my cares to him. Casting all your cares, all your anxieties, all your worries, and all your concerns once and for all. See, it's finished. You don't get up from your prayer closet. Don't get up from meditating on God until it's done. It's finito. It's not something you're sitting here constantly toiling over. No, once you cast it, leave it there. Leave it there. For he cares. See, this would really help me out today too. I'm like, okay, Lord, I feel ashamed to even admit that I'm broken right now. I've been in pride for so long. It's almost embarrassing to tell the Lord, I don't have it together. I'm hanging on by a thread. I can hardly pray because this weight is heavy. But then it follows and he says He cares about you with the deepest affection, and he watches over you very carefully. So I'm like, whoa, I can cast my care because he cares. Because he cares. And anytime I fail to cast my cares on him, one, there's pride. I don't trust he's going to really take care of me. But two, another part of that could be you don't believe that God cares. Sometimes people will be like, how could God see me in this mess and not respond right away? He don't even care. But he can't take a will if you don't lay down your will. He can't take your will if you don't lay down your will. God is a gentleman. And if you want to know how to get through every moment of your life, well, one, you have to learn how to cast your cares. And to be able to cast your cares, you have to approach the throne of grace humbly, knowing that you need God. Knowing that you're weak so he can be made strong. Knowing that you need his grace, but his grace is sufficient. You have to know that. You have to understand that. You have to allow yourself to be weak in the presence of God. See, the presence of God is not for you to come and be a thug. It's not for you to come and be a liar about where you are. This place is a vulnerable place. This place is a place of brokenness of you. It's a place of you laying that flesh down and saying, no, look, me and you, we tried it on our own and we couldn't make it without God. We have to figure this out. And how you figure it out, you cast it. Every moment. Because you may have 3 times in your day where you have to cast it. You may have 3 times in your day where you have to cast it. And that is okay. Don't let the enemy make you feel like you can't spend time in prayer. We're supposed to pray without ceasing anyway. Okay? James said, consider it an opportunity for great joy when troubles of any kind come your way. For it's a chance for your endurance to grow. It's a chance for you to get back into prayer. It's a chance for you to expand your capacity. My sister prayed over me today, and I put in the chat patience. Because I'm in a season of my life where it's hard to wait on God. It's hard to wait. It's hard. It's uncomfortable to wait. And then she goes on to pray like, Lord, she doesn't need more patience. She understands patience. You taught her patience. Your daughter knows patience. What she needs is capacity. And I was like, my goodness, she's absolutely right. That's literally all I needed was capacity. I needed room to be able to deal with where God is taking me, because literally the things that I'm needing patience about is literally just because God is expanding me. Anything that's pulled apart this way, it hurts. When Genesis came out of me, when I had a C-section, I'm not trying to be gross, but I felt the tension when they were pulling that up. And that's literally how it feels in the spirit, is that God is expanding me. And so I need capacity. When you're coming out of your Egypt and into your Canaan, you have to get a whole new capacity to be able to fit all the things that God is pouring in. He's pouring in so much at one time. I'm kind of like, I can't do all of this. So there we go, back to casting all your cares. Because anytime you feel like you're at your wit's end, is because you thought you were supposed to do it all on your own. You thought that he gave it all to you so that way you don't need to pray anymore. No. The more you get, the more you need to be dependent on God. Because it's supposed to be, the heaviness allows you to depend on him. If you're comfortable, you're not dependent on God. So cast your cares. Make it a habit. Don't make it a habit to be perfect and make it look like everything is Google Cocoa Puffs. I'm working on that too. Not just saying, I'm good, all the time. You got to have a balance. You be enthusiastic and you be optimistic, but don't lie. Allow God to take where you are now, because he cares about where you are now, and allow his word to saturate you with where you're going. Because you can be in a season of ruin and declare victory. That's all I'm saying. It's out of your mouth. If you start to speak victim, I learned this from a woman of God. Her name is Ashley Johnson on Facebook. I really like her. She was talking about how if you are a victim, you can't walk in victory. And I'm like, you are absolutely right. You can't do both at the same time. You're going to be a victor. You're going to be a victor. You're going to be a victim. You got to pick one. But if you start to hear out of your mouth, you're speaking things that are ill, that are victim standpoint, you need to go back to your closet and don't come out until you speak the word of the Lord regarding your situation. So you cast your cares. because he cares and he watches over you. Be sober, well-balanced, and self-disciplined. Be alert and cautious at all times, right? Because what the enemy does, he said he's looking for someone to devour in the next verse, is if you are at this place where you're vulnerable, but you're vulnerable and you're leaning into the things of the world and not into the things of God, you have just become a victim of the enemy, of the lion. You've opened the door for things unlike God. This is where you see people starting to go into horoscopes. They start going into tarot cards because they need answers, and the answers not coming fast. And if they start ignoring the will of God, I don't want you to do that. So if you're hard pressed, if you feel like you're in the crushing, study 1 Peter 5, casting your cares on God. Trusting him enough to let him know, hey, this sucks right now, but I will continue to declare what you said. It's not supposed to be a cakewalk. You just have help. Lean on your help. Lean on your help. If you're doing it alone, but you declare to be a believer, you're doing it wrong. You should be dependent, unless they come as a child. That dependent. Children don't even wipe their own butt, hardly. And that's how we should be. We should be so dependent on God. I said today out my mouth, I was like, I'm worried about my daddy stuff. My daddy in the natural, if he got a bill to be paid, he don't say, oh, Dad, I gotta pay this bill. He just take care of it. He take care of his family. It's not even a question. What it look like coming to him and crying about my phone bill that he pays? Oh, it's the first of the month. You got me? You got me? It's on automatic. So shall it be in the spirit if you have that kind of faith. So yeah, I just wanted to share with y'all what he brought to my attention, because that blessed me so much. And I'm thankful that he reminded me that I don't have to feel like I'm floating in the clouds all day, every day. I'm going to feel like stuff sometime. I'm going to feel like I don't want to do it. I'm going to feel like, what's the point? I'm going to feel like, to heck with all this. I want to go hide. But I come out victorious when I decide to declare the word of the Lord, and when I cast my cares on him so I can move. You want to know how long you keep casting your cares? Until you can move. If you are stagnant right now, cast your cares and go find one thing you can do towards where you're trying to go. And I promise you, you're going to look up and be exactly where you wanted to be, because you got in the habit of allowing the Lord to take the will of your life as you lay down your will in prayer. Telling you what I know, not what I heard. Anyway, I love y'all. I really like talking about this, because anytime I get to talk about where I am, I get passionate, because I'm coming out and I want to see you come out with me. Can we come out together? Can we come out together? Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Subscribe if you haven't, and share this video with somebody that you know struggles with anxiety, depression, worrying, anything like that. I would love to talk to them about this. In the description box below, I have a couple of ways you can reach me, so feel free to do that. I'm going to go in the house. It's hot. I actually am not at home. This is why I'm in the car, but it's hot. Anyway, I love y'all. I'll see y'all next video.